Occasionally, when editing your video projects, you will want something a little more sophisticated or flashy than simply cutting from one clip to another over and over again. Or you may want to create a side-by-side or picture-in-picture effect to show or compare two clips on screen at once. These are actually very easy to accomplish in iMovie, so let's take a look at how they work. Let's first talk about cutaways. Cutaways is the default setting for two clips that are overlapping with each other. For example, here, when she's talking about this is such a thrilling and dangerous experience, I want to use another B-roll footage to illustrate her point. So I find this part where the shark is actually approaching her to illustrate how close the shark is to this person and why this is such a dangerous and thrilling experience. Okay, so I will drag it to where my playhead is. I will position it right at where she ends with the sentence. Okay, so let's watch this part first.
Like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it's very dangerous, but at the same time it's very thrilling and exciting.
Okay, so this is what we call a cutaway. Basically, a cut straight from this interview back to the B-roll and then back to the interview again. So once you have two clips overlapping with each other, then there's additional setting that you can change. You can either click on the clip to show the setting adjustment, or you can place your playhead somewhere in between here. So once you click on this additional adjustment, and then you will find default setting will be cutaway. And for cutaway, there are other settings that you can adjust. For example, opacity. So if I change my opacity, you can actually see both clips at the same time because the one on top is a little bit more transparent. So let's watch the effect.
And it's very dangerous, but at the same time it's very thrilling and exciting.
So you can decide whether this is the effect you're going for. I will change it back. And you can also add a fade in and fade out effect and specify the time for the fade in fade out effect, and you will see the bar here. And let's play it in to see the effect.
And it's very dangerous, but at the same time it's very thrilling and exciting.
So this is similar to a fade in and fade out transitions, which we will talk about in a later movie. Okay, so this is the first option, cutaway. And if you don't like cutaway, then you can go here and choose other effects as well. We will talk about green screen effect in the next movie. Let's talk about the split screen now. So if you select split screen, you will find that actually we're splitting the screen in half and then put the two clips either on the left and right, or you can change it to top and bottom. So you can change the position of the two clips. You can also add another slider. We will play the effect for you to take a look.
And it's very...
So similar, give you animation to change it to a split screen. So that's split screen. And finally, I want to talk about picture-in-picture. However, I don't want to use this as an example. I want to give you another example to better illustrate this effect. So we'll change it back to cutaway. That's what I want. And here, she actually talked about how nervous she is during the shark dive experience. So let's watch this part first.
Even though I'm scared.
Okay, so she's scared, and I want to have a B-roll which shows that she's feeling scared. And I find this part where her facial expression actually illustrates this point. So I will select the part where we can see her facial expression very clearly, and I will place it over here and maybe make it a little bit longer. Okay, and now similarly that I can change it to picture-in-picture. And I find it helpful because I want to both see this person talking, but at the same time want to illustrate, she's feeling scared. And you find that you can zoom in and zoom out and reposition this clip wherever you want. You can also choose dissolve, zoom, and swap different effect. Let's see what a dissolve looks like.
Scary.
Let's give it a time. I think it's because it's such a short clip, so we couldn't see the effect very well.
Scared.
Okay, that's dissolve. So you can play with it. Another thing you can do, which is change it back to 0, is to give the clip some borders, and you can choose the color for the border. So I encourage you to play with it, but don't make it too fancy because you don't want to distract your audience attention. Okay, so that's how to create a cutaway as well as a side-by-side and picture-in-picture effect in iMovie.